My desk mate is a little idiot. I told her to wear black, but she wore white. I told her to smile, but she cried. Told her to kiss me, but she bit me. But when I told her to wait for me, she actually waited for me for 10 years. It wasn't until many years later, when I successfully started my business, that I learned from my classmate that she had always silently sacrificed for me. But when I found her, I learned that she had suffered from severe depression since her school days. Now, even the simplest communication has become an illusion. Because of this, I fell into deep self-blame. Since then, every time late at night there's no one around, I always remember that girl in class. The girl timidly gave me small pieces of paper, and I regret why I didn't talk more to her at that time. But because of an accident, I went back to my high school classroom. After a brief moment of confusion, I hastily shifted my sight to the right. That familiar face actually appeared in my sight. Seemingly realizing that someone was staring, the girl's eyes began to avoid a little, and you could clearly feel that she was a little panicked. From a distance, she looked so fragile, as if she could be blown away by the wind at any moment, making people feel untouchable. Bok T-Ham, I like you. My unconscious words made the girl who had been avoiding eye contact as if she heard something unbelievable. At the same time, she opened her eyes wide, not forgetting to look at the reactions of the people around her. Luckily, my voice wasn't loud, so she temporarily breathed a sigh of relief, pretended not to hear, and lowered her head. It's just that her little hands don't know where to put them, clearly a bit awkward. Bok T-Ham, do you hate me, so you don't talk to me? No, it's not like that. She panicked. Her hands were restless, not knowing where to put them. That's scary. That was her first thought. Seeming to remember something, Bok T-Ham quickly searched his desk. A moment later, he looked at me with slightly resentful eyes. I don't have any more food. This soft, stammering tone. Am I that scary? But hearing that she can communicate normally with me is really nice. I tried to control the excitement in my heart, wanting to hold her little hand many times, but was afraid that this action would scare this shy little girl. I don't really have any food anymore. Bok T-Ham was almost about to cry because of worry. Her anxious hands could only grasp the corner of her shirt tightly to ease her emotions. In her impression, I always steal her snacks, being a sinful bad person. No need for food today. I just want to tell you something very important. Do you want to hear it? Seeing me suddenly serious, Bok T-Ham hesitantly nodded. Normally I sleep during class and play around outside of class. Seeing me suddenly so serious, she thought it must be something very important. Bok T-Ham, I want to try my best to make you my wife. Hearing that, she was like a frightened white rabbit. She quickly distanced herself from me, shook her head continuously, and lowered her head without looking at me. Raising her head to look at me while talking, she obediently raised her head, her eyes looking at me a little scared. Don't bully me. I'm not bullying you. This is my very serious confession. She shook her head again and deliberately moved her body back a bit, signaling me to check her desk drawer. This action makes me laugh. It turns out that before, I only knew how to steal food from this stupid girl. It's not that I'm not serious. From today onwards, I will show you what love is. Bok T-Ham widened her eyes, truly scared this time, feeling like she was about to cry for a moment. What? Can't win the snacks, but asks me to be his wife. He is truly an evil person who only knows how to take advantage. No, she mustered up all her courage and felt she couldn't always comply with my requests, so she appropriately protested. If you don't give me snacks, you want to be my wife. So what will you ask for next time, giving birth? Thinking of this, Bok T-Ham was even more startled. It's okay, it's fine if you get used to it a few times. Not giving her a chance to refuse, I turned around and sat up straight. The ceiling fan still creaks and spins. The bold boy and the shy girl both have their own thoughts. Basic high school students all wear uniforms. If I had to look for someone else through their back, maybe I really wouldn't be so sure. But regarding Bok T-Ham, I still have some understanding. At this time, although she has not shown signs of serious communication anxiety, she is still a bit introverted. For example, when eating in the cafeteria, she always has the habit of choosing a position in a corner with few people, basically not communicating with anyone throughout the process. Breakfast? No, waiting for your husband to run so fast. Bok T-Ham stopped his movements, quickly waved his hand, and at the same time turned his head to look around. After confirming that no one was looking in our direction, he interruptedly said no. No, it's not. Having said that, it seemed like he didn't want to pay attention to me. She's afraid that if she gets used to it, what if one day she unconsciously agrees? She and I just sat across from each other, glancing at her self-brought lunchbox. Inside, in addition to fried eggs, there are also some cute little animal-shaped sandwiches. Do you want to eat? Noticing my eyes, she reached out her small hand to choose the largest one, then gave me a small sandwich. Is this all made by you? I don't remember there being such cute little sandwiches in the cafeteria. Bok T-Ham didn't say anything, but looked at me and put the rabbit-shaped bread into his mouth. Even without any questions, I could tell just from her expectant eyes. At this time, the stupid girl wanted to know the assessment. This bread is normal. Sure enough, upon hearing my assessment, Bok T-Ham most likely didn't get the answer he wanted, so he pouted, moved the lunchbox, and turned away, not looking at me anymore. In my heart, I was defined as an evil person who doesn't know how to enjoy delicious food. After a while, because she hadn't felt my movements for a long time, she couldn't help but feel a little curious in her heart. She secretly turned her head, intending to use the corner of her eye to observe what I was doing, but discovered that the villain eye was staring at her. What's wrong? Do you want me to feed you? Bok T-Ham was like a child caught doing something bad. His eyes began to avoid. He quickly put the bread in the food container, then picked up the food tray and quickly ran away. I was in no hurry to keep up, but waited outside the cafeteria, knowing Bok T-Ham would come out after packing up the lunchbox. A moment later, the shy girl, her face red, slowly walked out of the cafeteria. She seemed a bit confused, looking around, clearly searching. Only when his eyes locked on me did he begin to move his steps. On the outside, he looks a bit scared, but in reality, he doesn't act timidly at all. She even knew to come find me. She and I went before and after. Can you not sleep during class in the future? She mustered up the courage to say the words written on the paper. Knowing that I could still be the same as before, she still couldn't help but want to remind me. I stopped walking, turned my head to look at Bok T-Ham, and breathed lightly, knowing how much courage it took for her to say this. In my impression, she rarely directly said these kinds of concerns to me. Much is still communicated through small pieces of paper. What's wrong? Do you want me to study hard so that in the future I can pass the entrance exam to a university? Bok T-Ham was stunned. Her little eyes opened wide, completely not thinking that her words could be understood by me in this way. Immediately waved his hand to deny. No, that's not it. So you hate me and don't want to go to school with me, no? Neither. She was a little nervous and waved her hand harder, afraid that I would misunderstand. And at the same time, she was miserable because she didn't know how to express herself. Finally, he groped in his pocket. Not long after, a smile appeared on his face. Her small hand seemed to perform a magic trick, and a white rabbit milk candy appeared. Looking at her expression, it was like she had found a treasure, waiting for me to take it and eat it. I smiled and took the candy and, following her eyes, opened the packaging and put the candy in my mouth. Very sweet. Thank. When she saw my smile, Bok T-Ham felt like she was relieved of a burden and breathed a sigh of relief. People will be so happy when they eat candy. She won't be misunderstood. Back in class, she still felt something strange. The familiar creaking sound of the chair is no longer there. She blinked curiously, only feeling that something was different between her and her friend today. Usually, when school ends, I often ask her to move her chair to make room. If it's not going to the bathroom, it's just a joke. Don't joke around with classmates who don't like studying. It's okay to joke around. What she hates the most is me going to the bathroom. Every time I turned around, she smelled an unpleasant smell of cigarette smoke. Hey, are you secretly looking at me? Hearing this sentence, Bok T-Ham was immediately stunned, picked up his pen and pretended to be diligently doing his homework. It's okay. I'm not ashamed to sneak a look at my husband. Since I've started to be a scoundrel, I have to let this little idiot gradually get used to it. On the contrary, Bok T-Ham, after hearing me call myself my husband, bit her lip. Why did he become a husband? Is this person a scoundrel? Not long after, a small piece of paper was slowly pushed into my field of vision. After handing over the paper, she used the corner of her eye to see me finish reading the piece of paper, but directly chose to ignore it. She directly pursed her lips to show her dissatisfaction. Wife, Why are you sitting in the last row? Not. Bok T-Ham was completely impatient. This time, I didn't even use colored paper, but directly expressed my ideas. It's okay. It's okay. Sooner or later it will be like that. I will tell you. In her world, telling a teacher is very scary and is also the most effective way to deal with a scoundrel like me. Although there's a bit of intimidation in there. Oh, okay. Now I dare to tell you, not bad. Hearing these threatening words, I felt comforted. In my impression, she didn't even dare to tell on the teacher. She didn't dare even talk normally with her classmates. Compared to that, this is truly an improvement. But before Bok T-Ham could continue to express his dissatisfaction, a call came from the door. Lam Tan Vu, the homeroom teacher, is looking for you. Bok T-Ham was stunned. Her eyes widened in an unbelievable moment as she looked towards me. That expression seemed to be explaining that she didn't tell the teacher. Don't worry, it's okay. Wait for me to come back. She looked at my back as I left, stunned. According to her experience, every time I return from the office, I am not happy. She bowed her head again and looked at her desk. The previous snacks were swept away by me. She frowned, hesitated, then finally stood up. Tan Vu, it's your final year. You have to try a little harder. My mother still calls from time to time to ask how my studies are going. I have to say, when I saw the homeroom teacher's appearance again, I still felt a little emotional. In memory, Ms. Tran was still very good to me. Even though almost all the subject teachers had given up on me, she still occasionally came to me to talk. Ms. Tran, thank you for your concern. I know, before it was because I didn't understand things. I hope you'll understand more. My sudden change made Ms. Tran completely confused. She was a little confused. Where was the rebellious boy who usually didn't like to pay attention to her? Haven't you caused something to me recently? I sheepishly scratched my head, also a bit embarrassed. Recalling high school behavior feels like a deathly embarrassing moment. Miss Chun, stop teasing me. There are 3 months left until the university entrance exam. I don't want to become such a useless person. Hearing this, Ms. Tran felt even more surprised. The sun is rising in the west. Why don't you argue with me anymore? No matter what bad intentions you have, if you can say these words, I, the homeroom teacher, will still be happy for you, and your mother will be very happy to know. Thank you for your concern, Ms. Tran. I won't cause trouble anymore. I bowed slightly in front of her. Okay, today's performance is not bad. From now on, you won't fall asleep in the future. If you don't want to sit in the corner, you can tell me. Don't think I don't just want to sit in the corner to hide from sleep. Actually, I did have this thought before, but now I feel like the corner of the room is quite quiet, not to mention that little idiot. The only thing I don't understand is why she also sits in the last row. With Bok T-Ham's achievements, it is clear that he can sit near the top. No matter what, you can't become my desk mate. Also, Bok T-Ham, that child is quite introverted. Even though he was bullied, he didn't say anything. At first, she wanted to sit in your position. I was afraid that she was sitting in the innermost corner and couldn't see the board, so I moved you to the innermost corner. Oh my God, what is it called? I can only see my feelings sitting inside, because my attitude is especially good. Ms. Tran briefly said. The situation is recent. Let me go back to class. Bok T-Ham was breathing lightly, his eyes occasionally looking towards the front door. The small hand in the desk drawer has neatly arranged the purchased candy and cookies. While breathing, I finally breathed a sigh of relief in my heart. So he won't be unhappy anymore? Until my figure appeared in her sight, she sat up straight, withdrew her eyes from looking at me, and pretended to be studying. At the same time, moved the chair to make room for me. The first thing I did when I returned to class was to look in Bok T-Ham's direction, clearly seeing her a bit panicked. What's wrong? Waiting for me to come back. As soon as I sat down, the piece of paper was passed. At this time, perhaps discovering that I had no other moves, combined with her previous attitude, guessed that I might be unhappy again. So she mustered up her courage again. I dug out a small bag of snacks from the drawer, along with a prepared piece of paper, and gave it to me. Didn't you say there was nothing to eat? Where did this cookie come from? I tore open the bag, finished the small cookies in 3 or 2 pieces, and looked at her suspiciously. Because this time my question had 2 questions using paper, so I suddenly couldn't keep up. Additionally, with anxiety in her heart, she was forced to open her mouth. Again, there it is again. Speech stuttered again. Oh, which boy bought it for you? When I said this, I deliberately acted angry, turned my head to look at Bok T Ham, waiting for her to explain. No, that's not it. No, there are no boys. Bok T Ham just thought about being wronged by me, not to mention how angry he was. Obviously, the snacks and candy were only for me, not to mention she specially ran out to buy these foods. She snorted coldly, turned around, and decided not to pay attention to the obnoxious guy next to her anymore. Let me see, this isn't someone special buying me something to eat, is it? I intentionally teased her, even though I didn't always know why, but in my previous life, whenever I was in trouble, she always asked someone to bring snacks. This habit has never changed. No, I will tell you. This little idiot even intentionally added a fierce expression, wanting to use it to scare me. A series of actions in her eyes are considered very aggressive signals. Surely it would have some effect, at least it would make me feel scared. You're so adorable. When Bok T Ham's ferocious yet adorable expression appeared, I couldn't help it anymore. I reached out and gently patted her head. Unexpectedly, she later became extremely afraid of society and could not communicate normally. But Bok T Ham used to have such a lovely side. What? Bok T Ham was flustered and immediately cowered, her cheeks turning pink. Obviously, in her vision, I was like a gray wolf suddenly reaching out its claws, wanting to hold her tightly, a little white rabbit. Suddenly, the class bell rang like a shotgun, scaring the nearby gray wolf away. I stopped the movements in my hand, then, under Bok T Ham's incredulous eyes, took out an English book and began to memorize vocabulary. She thought she was mistaken, so she rubbed her eyes to confirm that I was really learning vocabulary. Her surprised expression also slowly turned into joy. At the same time, the other hand touched the snacks arranged in the drawer. In her eyes, these snacks are like treasures. At noon, Bok T Ham wanted to go eat alone, but I kept saying she wanted to eat alone, so she didn't want me to go with her. To prove that she wasn't, she could only let me follow. When she arrived at the canteen, she habitually walked towards the small queue. At least she didn't like crowds. That atmosphere made her feel uncomfortable. Now it's good. I still remember that in her later days, she could barely communicate with others. Every day I stay alone in the house. I even do all the cooking myself, completely isolating myself. Therefore, during this period, she would rather choose to eat cheap food that is not delicious than go to a crowded place and queue. Not because I don't have money, but because I don't want to. Come here, I'll take you out to eat delicious food, I said. Bok T Ham shook his head slightly to refuse. She is like a sheep lost in a pack of wolves, timid and not daring to act. Afraid? I asked. Bok T Ham did not deny and spoke softly. So do you want to go through with it? I asked again. She raised her head, wondering why I said what she wanted to do the most. I can't do it. Before she could try, the little bit of hope that appeared in her eyes was extinguished by herself. The subconscious keeps telling itself, this is absolutely impossible to accomplish. As people live in this world, the most important thing is to dare to try. Just dare to take one step forward, perhaps you can really succeed. But if you don't do anything, you will miss out on many wonderful things. She didn't dare to believe that an evil person who only knew how to bully her every day could say such things. But it was these words that made her courage that had disappeared arise again. Actually, it's just food, nothing else, I said in a very gentle tone. If the atmosphere continues to be tense, it's likely that she still won't dare. If you're still scared, I'll hold your hand and walk through. That'll probably be better. As soon as the words ended, I was ready to reach out and hold her hand. Hearing this, Bok T Ham panicked and ran away immediately. In her eyes, this was clearly scarier than standing in line in a crowded place. Don't look at her who is usually timid. In the blink of an eye, she obediently stood next to the line of people. Wait until I come and get some food. Oh, I've already failed before going to war. Bok T Ham, you wait. I will make you obediently raise your hand. In the afternoon class, Bok T Ham pushed a piece of paper past me. Without saying anything, took a pen and wrote an answer on that piece of paper. At the same time, his eyes secretly glanced to the side very clearly. I was in no hurry to expose it, finished writing the piece of paper and was about to give it to her, but suddenly thought of something and quickly took back the piece of paper. This action made the small eyes that had been waiting for a long time angry. What a villain, she thought, not wanting to watch. She bowed her head, held the pen, pursed her lips, and moved in one go. But when I passed the piece of paper to her, she still immediately farted. But for the sake of dignity, Bok T-Ham could only pretend not to see and continue doing his homework. After a while, she pretended to turn her head and look around. Finally, her eyes stopped on the piece of paper, and she showed an expression as if she had just discovered it. It's just that the small hand holding the piece of paper was clearly a bit nervous. This was the first time I answered her on a piece of paper. And when she saw what was written inside, Bok T-Ham's whole body went numb. He's so adorable. Open the piece of paper, check again, black and white clearly. Confirming the contents were not mistaken, she blushed in embarrassment and clutched the piece of paper in her hand. Then, naturally put the little hand into the desk drawer, carefully fold the piece of paper in half, try not to make any sound. Finally, put it with your precious pile of snacks, all in one place. All afternoon, I was very obedient, neither sleeping nor reading after hours. Before, Bok T-Ham also felt curious. She didn't understand why I could read books so attentively outside of class. I even tried to borrow it to watch, but I discovered her intentions, then frankly refused, saying this was something only when I grew up I could watch it. Bok T-Ham, who was inherently shy, could only obediently nod. At dinner time, no matter what I said, this girl just stayed in the classroom and didn't go out, saying that after self-study in the evening, she would go home to cook dinner. Perhaps to ease the slightly awkward atmosphere, Bok T-Ham took out food from the drawer again. Why do you always give me food? I'm always very curious about this point. She didn't know how to express herself. Maybe it was due to stress. She couldn't speak. She could only hold a pen and quickly write on paper. You said eating junk food would make you happy. If you weren't happy, it would be very unpleasant. So let me eat it. After reading this passage, I suddenly felt a sting in my nose. Remember, that was before, to trick her into snacking, I said. Unexpectedly, this little idiot remembered it in her heart. Not only now, when my career was in trouble in my previous life, even though she didn't communicate with me, those boxes of snacks were actually sent to the company. So you always have snacks because you want me to be happy. Amid the squeaking sound of the ceiling fan, the girl was a little nervous, not knowing what to say. I tore open a packet of snacks and gave it back to her. I also hope you are always happy. So can you not bully me? Not bullying you, but will still pursue you. No. Endure until evening school ends. At this time, high school was also divided into paternal and maternal uncles. It's just that most of the students are from paternal uncles. There are few students from maternal uncles and live near the school. Bok T-Ham and I belong to that small part. It's just that at that time, I was quite playful and missed a lot of time when I could go home with Bok T-Ham. In my impression, there is always a girl quietly following behind, a little girl with a slightly autistic personality, walking in a crowd of people. It was definitely a lie to say he wasn't nervous, but Bok T-Ham only knew me in class, so he could only slowly follow me. Only when leaving the school gate, with few people around, did it disappear. Walking together, Bok T-Ham was packing her things and shaking her head. Then I'll go first, see you tomorrow. Seeing me leave, Bok T-Ham also accelerated the movements in his hand. My close friend Kong Map was waiting for me downstairs early. Mr. Vu, have you forgotten all about us today? Don't burn mosquito incense, don't go to the grocery store, and don't study books together anymore. Before he could get close, he started complaining. Fat, what are you talking about? Why don't I understand anything? We are good students. Hey, Mr. Vu, now you're playing this game with me. Are you hiding mosquito coils to smoke yourself? I'll give it all to you. I reached out to take the mosquito coil from my bag, but when I took it out, I discovered that the mosquito coil had turned into a snack. Fatty was about to criticize my action, but I stopped him. I turned my head to look behind. Fat and I have walked a while. Normally, that little idiot would definitely be in the back. But now, I can't even see her shadow. Isn't it because she couldn't find me tonight that she started to become that character? Thinking about this, I no longer have time to pay attention to Fat. Turned around and ran towards the classroom, finally able to do it again. Bok T-Ham, I don't want you to become like that again. I ran back at a 100-meter sprint. As I neared the classroom, in my vision, the girl I missed finally appeared. At this time, Bok T-Ham's face was full of resentment. He was in a hurry to follow me, but didn't notice that a bag of snacks was opened. The remaining cookies scattered all over the ground. forcing us to reluctantly stop to clean up. Hi. Maybe I can't keep up with him. Bok T-ham sighed, seriously cleaning up the cookies on the ground, not paying attention to the noise around. Until someone squatted down next to him. The person's rapid breathing was very obvious. She raised her head, as if seeing something impossible, and reflexively wanted to step back. But before she could react, the bad guy grabbed her. Bok T-ham had absolutely no chance to speak. The little white rabbit didn't know why, but felt he had made a mistake. Taking the initiative to lower his head, not daring to look at the gray wolf, he could only mutter from time to time, "From now on, you will follow me home." I didn't turn my head to look at her. The white rabbit did not object when he heard that, obediently nodded. Combined with my rapid breathing and worried tone, Bok T-ham knew I was definitely not happy. The small hand reached into the pocket of his pants again, took out the prepared candy, and held it towards me. "You monkey, so you left me behind to flirt with girls." Fat Confucius saw me leaving in a hurry, thinking there was something big going on, so he panted and ran after me. If it weren't for his physical condition, he could definitely come with me. "Fatty, be a little more restrained, don't scare your sister-in-law." He felt the little idiot next to him pulling the corner of my shirt. I immediately told Kong Nok to stop. Bok T-ham's voice was very small, habitually objecting, but did not choose to let go. His small hand was holding the corner of my shirt. Fatty curled his mouth. "You already have a lover. Do you forget your brothers?" After speaking, he moved closer to us. The smell of mosquito incense on the body is very clear. "Okay, Fat, don't talk nonsense. After school, bring someone along." "What, Mr. Vu? Does she also smoke purple flowers?" Bok T-ham was already a little scared. After hearing Kong Nok's words, his eyes widened. "Huatsu has been my table mate for so long. It's not like she doesn't understand anything." These sentences still make sense. Just thinking about the unpleasant smell that would appear on her body, she quickly waved her hand. "Why is she so shy? Is Mr. Vu really coming along?" I pulled Fatty Kong aside and told him seriously, "Fat, study well. If you really don't want to use that brain, then donate it to someone in need." Without giving Kong Map a chance to ask again, I immediately took Bok T-ham and left the school, leaving him standing there with a confused look on his face. Why does it feel like Mr. Vu has become a different person today? Didn't he teach me to blow smoke in circles 2 days ago? In a crowded place, Bok T-ham still feels scared. Throughout the process, they obediently followed behind me. It wasn't until we reached a place with few people that we breathed a sigh of relief. Just about to run away, but unexpectedly I was stopped. She stopped walking. Her eyes were somewhat pleading. Don't bully me." While there was no one around, under the moonlight, I held her small face. "Why are you running so fast? How can you not be afraid of being called a wife all day today?" Bok T-ham pursed her lips, looking resentful. I thought for a moment, then mustered up the courage to look up at me. You lied." "What did I lie about? You said you didn't bully me. As long as you don't always think about sneaking away, I definitely won't bully you." She tilted her head slightly, thinking seriously. "Okay, then I won't run. And later let me take you home. Understand? It's not safe for a girl to go home alone at night." After hearing what I said, Bok T-ham stepped back a bit. No. I'm afraid of you." "Why are you afraid of me? I'm not a bad person." But you made me your wife. I was made fun of by her." "Hey, asking you to be my wife. Are you really my wife? You can disagree, right?" Bok T-ham bowed his head as if he was seriously thinking about what I said. "So, then don't pinch my face from now on." "Well, I try to do this. If you get too cute and can't help it, you can't blame me. Tell you, I'm not bullying you, but I'm really worried that it won't be safe and you're alone." Bok T-ham is already going well. Listen to me. Suddenly, he opened his eyes wide, looking at me with some caution. "It's true that not many people should know that she lives alone. Well, I also live alone. Like you, I ran away from you to go home." Bok T-ham then breathed a sigh of relief and obediently followed me and continued walking. Under the moonlight, the shadow on the ground was clear. According to the angle, the position of the two people's palms matched. Bok T-ham always bowed his head and naturally discovered this scene. The little white rabbit seemed to proactively come closer, raising its small hand to coincide with the shadow of my hand, front and back like a fist motion. The next day, Bok T-ham woke up to the sound of birds chirping. At home, she is always in a particularly good mood. Stretch your body as wide as possible. Raise a small hand to rub your eyes that are still not fully open. Get dressed and wash your face. Everything was prepared. She put on her backpack and took the mop from the bathroom. All previously traveled routes were swept clean. Only then were they satisfied to leave. It's time to go downstairs again. Thinking about having to face the crowd, sometimes she felt a little panicked in her heart. But as soon as she thought of the promise she had made to me, she clenched her small fist and gathered all her courage. Come on, I can definitely do it. As a result, after going downstairs for a few steps, I realized I hadn't prepared breakfast. Just as he was about to turn back home, a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Bok T-Ham was weak, did not dare to raise his head, wanted to go around and get away from the other person. What's wrong? Don't you look to see who it is? I arrived early and waited downstairs at her house, but I didn't expect this stupid girl to walk around without looking up at anyone, only wanting to quickly get to class. Hearing my voice, Bok T-Ham raised his head. Even though I'm a bad guy in her heart, at least when she's with me, she's not too tense, and even a little relaxed. Have you brought breakfast yet? Is my portion prepared? Don't say anything. As he said that, Bok T-Ham was about to turn around and go back. Why did you forget to prepare? No, I forgot to do it. I reached out to pull her school bag. Let's go, take me out to eat tofu. Suddenly having to eat out with me. Bok T-Ham was a bit surprised and quickly waved his hand to refuse, but I picked up my bag and headed towards the school. You're lying again. Bok T-Ham snorted softly. I don't trust you anymore. I'm just like the left ear into the right ear. How can I not have contact with the outside world? Not to mention just buying breakfast. I must train her. You see, that old lady is very easy to talk to. You have to learn how to communicate with others, and gradually you won't be afraid anymore. Then I'll go there and buy 2 bowls of tofu. Bok T-Ham shook his head continuously. Because it was so urgent, I no longer stuttered. Okay, so do you want sweet or salty? Under her watchful eyes, I went through the entire process of buying tofu in one go. It's as simple as that. Yesterday you invited me to breakfast, so I had to invite you to eat tofu 4 times. 4. Bok T-Ham rolled her eyes. Knowing this, I didn't let you eat love bread yesterday. I scooped a spoonful of tofu and brought it to Bok T-Ham. Come on, open your mouth. Be good. Just eat 1 bite, and I won't make you buy tofu anymore. She is still resisting, but thinking about the coming days I will force her to buy tofu. After pondering for half a day, I finally nodded. You can't be fooled. I looked at her with a very serious expression. We've known each other for so long. When did I lie to you? She was staring at me and was a bit embarrassed. You said yesterday that you wouldn't bully me. Don't unfairly support good people like that, Bok T-Ham. I did it for your health, so you can eat breakfast on time. How can it be bullying? Bok T-Ham raised her head slightly, her fingers holding the corner of her shirt and rubbing it over and over again. This is bullying. So do you want to eat? If you don't eat, I'll wait for you downstairs tomorrow and ask you to buy me tofu. Seeing that I was about to carry the bowl away, she finally gave up resisting. Good boy. Open your mouth. Sweet tofu in the mouth. She discovered for the first time that this dish turned out to be so delicious. I nodded with satisfaction. Then tomorrow, no more tofu. Eat wontons. Bok T-Ham bit the spoon of tofu in her mouth, not swallowing it yet. Fraud. Big fraud. The morning sunlight is not too harsh. However, when entering the schoolyard, as long as she could see my shadow on the ground, Bok T-Ham would reach out and step on it to relieve her dissatisfaction. But maybe because she was stepping so intently, she completely didn't notice that I stopped walking. As a result, she stabbed me straight in the back. Are you there yet? Going to eat. She obediently followed me to the cafeteria. Can you really not eat? I was a little worried. After all, before this little idiot lined up at the counter, there was absolutely no need to talk. There were only 2 dishes of green vegetables with little clear prices. But this time, the counter is different. 2 salty dishes, 1 vegetarian dish. You still need to open your mouth to choose. You are all very good, not scary. Bok T-Ham silently encouraged herself. Mainly afraid of me. If she doesn't learn how to order food herself, what if I actually call her wife in the cafeteria? Bok T-Ham was secretly encouraging himself. When I saw people lining up, I immediately lost all courage. I can't eat meat. Having finished speaking, he looked at me with pleading eyes. wanting to go to the place with the fewest people at the edge to line up. Okay, then I'll feed you later. She pursed her lips, very dissatisfied, and decided to step on my balls a few times when she got home. Simply lining up, she is not afraid. Anyway, the evil guy I'm behind her, the only thing she's worried about now is how to call her sister later. I intend to do it. After a while, when she went to the window to get some food, Bak T-Ham stammered and seemed nervous. Sister, my sister wants. Behind her, Bak T-Ham stopped talking and pointed at the fried tomatoes with eggs, fried green peppers with meat, and white cabbage, 2 parts. Waiting for her to finish paying, I quickly grabbed the food. How can I let her invite guests? This time I owe her 5 bowls of pho. Bak T-Ham opened her eyes wide, completely unexpected that the result would be like that. I took 2 portions of food to the corner where she usually sat. Also at this time, Big Kong appeared carrying a tray of food. Oh my God, Mr. Vu, why is there so much meat for you and your sister-in-law? The chef seems to have a grudge against me. Obviously, I ordered meat stir-fried with green chili. Stubbornly gave me a large spoonful of green chili. Kong Nok looked at our tray of food, his eyes full of admiration. Fat. She saw that you were fat and reminded you to pay attention to what you eat. Stop it. My hands are shaking more than my grandmother's. Ah, Fatty Kong officially introduced him. This is your sister-in-law. Is this your sister-in-law? Mr. Vu, where did you seduce her from? Yesterday you kept chasing me, giving me candy. I immediately lured you back. Fatty Kong's expression seemed incredulous, but he finally spoke up. Hello, sister-in-law. The sudden call made Bak T-Ham not know how to answer, so he could only nod unconsciously. But after nodding, I found that I couldn't nod. Isn't nodding your head agreeing to be that evil guy's wife? Thinking of this, she immediately shook her head. Of course, this sequence of movements was naturally ignored by me. What's wrong? Fat, do you still want to stay and eat the dog's food? Honey, open your mouth. Oh, eat, eat. I just didn't eat a dog's head. Before leaving, Fat Confucius did not forget to complain. The sour smell of this love is so hateful. Hey, why are you standing there? Why are you deliberately not eating? Do you want me to bully you? After Kong Nok left, I turned my head towards Bak T-Ham, who was facing blankly. At this time, the little idiot was a bit confused, finally bowed her head, not daring to look directly at the bad guy, picked up the rice and stuffed it into her mouth, not knowing how to express her feelings at this time, looking a bit dissatisfied. Bak T-Ham shook his head, hastily denying the random thoughts that appeared in his heart. How could I even think about being bullied by him? After a while, Bak T-Ham raised her head slightly and looked at me carefully. Actually, he's quite good, tall and handsome. He doesn't have that bad smell from before. Furthermore, he's willing to accompany me to change, so being bullied a little is probably okay. The early afternoon sky rumbled. It felt like dark clouds were pressing down on the city, and it was about to collapse. Looking at the weather outside, Bak T-Ham frowned. She doesn't carry an umbrella. Raindrops as big as beans kept falling. To prevent rainwater from flowing in, I quickly went up to close the window, and at the same time saw Bak T-Ham's frowning expression. You brought an umbrella for lunch? Bak T-Ham's heart was cold. She had just put her hope in me. Now she could only pray that the rain after school at night would be a little less. No umbrella, it's not safe. I'll go buy it later. That's right, the grocery store sells it. Seeing that I was about to go downstairs to buy an umbrella, she took out change from her pocket and gave it to me. The meaning doesn't need to be said to understand. It's just that I don't accept money. Buying one is enough money. I have to save money. What a joke. How could I pass up the opportunity to share an umbrella like this? Who would have thought that the stubborn little idiot, upon hearing that, would not give up her seat, only thinking about having to walk with me under an umbrella, her face as red as a small tomato. Then I want it too. I want to go. Let's go then. After all, it's raining now. There must be a lot of people buying umbrellas. Maybe the grocery store is full of people now. Let's go, let's go. When she heard the crowd, Bak T-Ham's little mind immediately flashed the image of the scene on her body. Just thinking about it made her a little scared. No, can you help me buy one? As he spoke, he reached out and pulled the corner of my shirt. It's okay to help me buy it. Call your husband to listen. Her hand, pulling at the corner of my shirt, immediately let go. You liar, you're bullying me again. Okay, that's it for now. I'll go buy it right away. If I don't go anymore, I'll start school soon. Bok T-Ham obediently gave up his seat, watched me leave the classroom, looked at the thunder and lightning outside the window, and still felt a bit worried. So he stood up and left his seat. Going to the grocery store in the suburbs, I conveniently bought some candy and snacks as a reward for that idiot's future progress. Rainwater falling on the umbrella makes a happy sound. The smarter birds hid under the eaves, and at the girl who wanted to step into the heavy rain, they let out soft, mocking laughter. Until I appeared, stopping Bok T-Ham's reckless actions. What are you doing out here on a rainy day like this? Just obediently wait for me in class. This is the umbrella I bought for you. Having finished speaking, I carefully stored the newly purchased umbrella and intentionally shook off the water as if intentionally saying that I had just used it. As for Bok T-Ham, her eyes were searching all over my body, trying to find the second umbrella. Don't want it. This is yours. I'll come back from the rain tonight. Looking at the raindrops that occasionally slid down from my head, Bok T-Ham slightly regretted telling me to buy an umbrella. Luckily, when I left class, I brought a packet of paper from my drawer that could dry me. There's water, wipe it off. In her heart, she wanted to help me clean it, but after a while of struggling with her thoughts, she still didn't have the courage. I took the tissue, took out a neatly folded sheet, and did not rush to wipe myself, but gently wiped Bok T-Ham's cheek. I told you to buy it. I won't lie to you. It's okay to wait in class. If you catch a cold, I won't take care of you. Bok T-Ham was scolded and only felt angry. It was obvious that she ran out because she was worried. As a result, the bad guy was so aggressive towards her. After Bok T-Ham and I returned to class, the little bird that had previously taunted her flew into the rain, wet its feathers, and then returned to the porch, but never saw the other half come to care. Indeed, in the human world, people are fooling birds. The final sound of school ending in the evening rang out. Bok T-Ham felt extremely tense. Even though he was used to sitting at the same table with me, having to be so close to me under an umbrella was unbearable just thinking about it. It's okay. It's not raining too much now. I'll be fine when it rains. Let's go. Just follow behind. Don't worry about me. Bok T-Ham felt something was wrong. Obviously, he didn't do anything. So why do he feel like he's become a bad guy? Just as I was about to leave my seat, she reached out and grabbed the corner of my shirt, and together we walked. I don't know how much courage it took for her, but after speaking, she immediately felt much more relieved. Let me tell you first, I won't bully you this time. Don't know why. She kept feeling something strange, but couldn't say it. Mr. Vu, guess what? When Fat Confucius met me, he could only say half a sentence. Okay, just pretend I'm not coming. Under the eaves, the bird waited for its feathers to dry, but could not wait for the rain to stop. When he saw Kong knock leave sadly, as if he had found an ally, he let out a gloating cry. On the way home, Bok T-Ham did not dare to talk the whole time, just listening to the rain falling on the umbrella making a clicking sound so as not to scare the girl next to her. I deliberately tilted the umbrella towards her head, but instead I got half of my body wet. However, there is still more satisfaction in my heart. At least now, can she stand next to me without any resistance, still tense? I leaned over and leaned into her hand to talk. Not knowing why, she suddenly felt that the villain in her impression seemed to have become gentler. And what's even more strange is that scenes of being bullied by me always appeared in her mind. It's done, am I broken? Bok T-Ham felt a little frustrated, awkwardly grabbed the corner of my shirt, and began to think seriously about the changes in the past 2 days. Before, she was always alone. My inner world, which was in a closed state, suddenly had a pink hole torn open by me. This makes it very difficult for her to return to the beginning. She carefully avoided the puddle under her feet. She had already prepared a plan to step on the shadow tonight. As a result, the plan failed and her emotions had no place to vent. By the time I arrived, half of my body was wet with the rain, but I still protected Bok T-Ham into the hallway. The rain had no intention of stopping, and even got windy. The coward made a buzzing sound. Bok T-Ham shrank back. Usually when she encounters this situation, she hides under the blanket, afraid that something will suddenly jump out from somewhere. Seeing the drops of water sliding down my face, she was a bit embarrassed, hesitated for a long time, and still opened her mouth. We have dry towels at home. Even though her house had never had outsiders come in, Bok T-Ham knew that if she kept letting me go home like that, she would most likely catch a cold. Okay, let's go up. Bok T-him thought that her invitation might be rejected by me, but she didn't expect me to agree so quickly. It feels like bringing a wolf into the house. I intentionally walked behind her. If she went straight to her house, she would definitely be scared. Anyway, in my previous life, I went to her house. Normally, girls cannot arbitrarily let boys into their house. If you are bullied, your life is over. But because she felt guilty, she had no choice. Still treats me well. No, it's not my wife. She cares so much. Get a towel to dry your hair. Almost done. Do you have hot water at home? Bok T-ham was scared at this time. As soon as I entered the door, I told her to prepare her slippers, then used her towel to dry her head. Now I want to use hot water to bathe. So wouldn't the next step be to take over her bed? Just thinking about it is a bit scary. Yes. Bok T-ham is a person who does not lie. Even in this situation, he did not lie to me. So quickly go drink a cup of hot water to warm yourself up. If you catch a cold, I don't want to take care of you. She pouted, feeling like she was a burden hearing what I said, but still followed my instructions and poured a cup of warm water to warm her body. Then he filled another cup and gave it to me. Don't worry, my physical condition is definitely better. After you drink the hot water, go take a shower quickly. Don't wear wet clothes anymore. If you're not in good physical condition, you can easily catch a cold. I know. The girl nodded, running back to her room before reacting. Bathing? Doesn't it mean that when you take a bath, bad people will be in the house? So she left the room again, hesitating and not knowing what to say. I knew what she was hesitating about. My eyes fell on her front. Don't worry. You drink more milk than I care. Actually, her figure is quite good. I said that just to tease her. Seeing that I didn't seem to care, she instead became enthusiastic, straightening her back as if wanting to prove something. When my eyes were about to fall on her, I seemed to have achieved my goal and happily turned around and left. Damn it, this time it's my turn to not calm down. My deskmate is a little girl who likes to eat sweet tofu and likes to secretly follow me every day after school. At first, I thought she was someone's cute little girl, but she became thirsty for my body. I was secretly happy because of that, thinking that I would suffer a little loss, but right now I couldn't be happy. Last night at Bok T-ham's house, after arranging her arrangements, I quickly left. I even forgot to eat dinner. Most importantly, I caught a cold again. At this moment, she was next to him and kept chuckling. Not because she knew my thoughts, but because she heard my intermittent coughing. Along the way, there was a little joy in the pain of others, especially when remembering the words I said yesterday. Honey, if you only eat vegetables, then only I will feed you. Hey, Fat, I'm officially introducing you as your sister-in-law. Then he turned his head and looked at my miserable face. At this moment, the smile on her face became even clearer. Are you laughing at me? In the end, Bok T-ham couldn't help but laugh out loud. By chance, I was next to him and saw him. She knew that if she admitted she would be bullied, she had to tell the first lie of her life. No, just thinking of some fun things. Oh, is that so? Then I punish you for taking care of me for one day. Bok T-ham now understands what double standards are. What? Yesterday you said that if I got sick, you wouldn't pay attention to me. Today he was sick and asked me to take care of him. Seeing that she didn't speak, I stopped walking. If you don't take good care of me, I'll give you a cold. On TV, the two people were close to each other, plus they had a deeper exchange of understanding. This will easily transmit a cold to the other person. Bok T-ham only felt dizzy. What's the point of being close to each other and having a deeper understanding? No, that's not possible. Hastily waving his hand, Bok T-ham quickly waved his hand in fear. Such a scene quickly appeared in her mind. No, absolutely no. She became even more nervous. She only felt her heartbeat begin to speed up endlessly. You can't bully me like that. Hey, what are you doing? Look around. If other classmates see you, you'll think I'm a bad guy. Having finished speaking, I approached Bok T-ham and pulled back her school bag that was about to slide down. But this scene in Bok T-ham's eyes almost confirmed what she had in mind. It's over. This time I'll be bullied miserably. Finally, she stopped resisting and stood still, eyes tightly closed, tense and speechless. Finally, I just felt like someone touched my school bag. When I opened my eyes, I discovered that I was walking towards the school. She was a bit embarrassed because she was so dramatic and imagined in her head, so she obediently walked next to me. It's not like I surrendered. I just took her to the school gate, a crowded place. If she left me now, It would be almost equivalent to dying. The reason I did so was because I wanted to help her quickly adapt to crowded places. You cannot communicate with them, but in the future it will be difficult to avoid encountering crowded situations. Now it's like a kind of training. So, it's not really scary, is it? I noticed the girl next to me breathe a sigh of relief. Even the force pulling the corner of my shirt is much smaller. She doesn't seem as stressed as before. Bak Tae-ham nodded obediently. In my heart, there is more than joy. Before, she never appeared in this situation. When going to school, always find the smallest amount of traffic, one path, then quickly go to class. Looking at my back, a smile appeared on her face. Cough, cough. I really didn't expect to catch a cold. I thought children could be messy, so last night on the way home, I had fun in the rain, and after returning home, I risked my life to take a cold shower. After coughing for a while, he turned his head to look at Bak Tae-ham behind him. The girl is now smiling brightly, her eyes often touching me. Bak Tae-ham thought to himself that this was not good. Hoo-hoo. You can't bully me anymore. I'll take care of you. This time she was wiser, not only begged me with pitiful eyes, but also quickly gave me an answer that satisfied me. Good. Take the medicine. She took the medicine from her desk drawer. I was staring at her for a while, even a little lost. Compared to 2 days ago, this girl's face looked much better and began to have some vitality. And from what I knew in my previous life, looking at Bak Tae-ham's situation, I could easily spend tens to hundreds of millions to support me. I certainly wouldn't assume she's just an ordinary person. It seems like if I really want her to be my wife, I have a long way to go. Actually, one thing I always don't understand is why isn't this idiot afraid of me? She basically stayed away from everyone else, not giving them any chance of contact. Asking her why she wasn't afraid of me, Bak Tae-ham heard that and stopped moving. Afraid is still afraid. Then why are you still with me? Aren't you afraid I'll bully you again? Hearing this sentence, Bak Tae-ham felt a bit nervous, not knowing how to organize her words, so she conveniently opened a book, wanting to use it to avoid the question. But the blush that appeared on her face quickly betrayed her. I just feel unbelievable. Could it be that she likes me now? About Bak Tae-ham, there are always 2 questions that bother me. One is why did she become like that later? Second, how does she like me? Actually, even she didn't know this question. When she first became my table mate, her first impression of me was that besides being handsome, the only other assessment was that I was evil. At first, Bak Tae-ham thought about whether she should ask Ms. Tran to change her desk mate, but each time I didn't affect her studies. Except when she comes back from outside the classroom and smells of cigarette smoke, there doesn't seem to be anything she hates. The little girl looked at me innocently, not knowing why. She just wanted to be by my side. Actually, the capsule in my desk drawer was still bought for me by her. It's just that he seems to have forgotten the dark world she has existed since he was a child. When children of the same age around them scratch their hands, their parents will gently suck and blow. Previously, Bak Tae-ham also tried to do the same, but the answer she received was to tell her to learn to be strong, otherwise her parents would scold her for being useless. She did not continue to reminisce, or it could be said that she did not dare to think. Her parents' work is very busy. The house has become a place for her to hide from everything. The only thing she knows is to achieve good academic results to show off to her parents. I still remember a time when I didn't perform well, and when I got second place over the phone, I could still hear angry scolding from the other end. From childhood to adulthood, she always had a small, weak personality and didn't know how to resist. Even though she felt dissatisfied in her heart, she didn't dare to say her true thoughts. Until she met me, who sometimes carried an unpleasant smell in her eyes. Bak Tae-ham seemed to see a new world. Sleeping during class, not doing homework, smoking incense in the nose. I looked around my surroundings, and after confirming it was safe, breathed a sigh of relief. Think about it. I was competing with that homeroom teacher. So many years of real combat experience must be rich. Led Bak Tae-ham out of the green area. The girl still kept repenting for stepping on the grass. Don't worry, it's okay. Tomorrow they will be fresh again. Following Bak Tae-ham's eyes, I guessed her thoughts. Bak Tae-ham nodded, remembering everything that had just happened. Besides being surprised, he also felt a little excited. The class bell rang. I studied on the spot all afternoon. Besides going to the toilet, there are no other activities. Even though I could do it again, I didn't particularly want to study that hard. But the author doesn't know how to do this, so he doesn't give me any system. Compared to the male leads next to me, I really couldn't lift my head to pass the entrance exam to the same school as Bok T-Ham. Can only try a little more. Every time the water in my transparent thermos bottle runs out, Bok T-Ham will obediently fill it up and put it back in its original position. The movements are very gentle and will make a small announcement, afraid of disturbing me while I'm in my learning state. At first, Bok T-Ham really liked this feeling. It's just that, as time passed, she always felt a lack of meaning. At first, she used this style of homework to kill time. Later, he couldn't help but take the snacks from the drawer, put them on the table, then carefully push them towards me, waiting for me to stretch, just to see what Bok T-Ham was doing. Will spotted the small snack moving slowly across the table, and the owner pushing it seemed a bit unhappy. "What's up?" I took the snack and naturally opened it to face Bok T-Ham's resentful eyes. "No, nothing." The girl quickly withdrew her hand, shook her head, not looking at me. It's done, I said. I was broken. Why did the thought arise? Why hasn't he come to bully me yet? What if I still want to hold your hand? I collapsed on the table and continued to look at Bok T-Ham with her head bowed, only to see her slightly panicked. The small hand that was originally holding the pen to do homework accidentally dropped it to the ground. What should I do? What should I do? He said there's a first time for everything, and my hand has already been held by him. Most importantly, for him, I don't hate the feeling of holding his hand. It's over. If my parents knew about this, they would beat me to death. Bok T-Ham's heart was full of resentment, so she directly opened a small distance from me. I looked at her in confusion. "You just gave me food. Why did you suddenly ignore them and come back here?" I used a calm tone to say this, but what Bok T-Ham heard was not what I meant. Wow, he's so scary. Is he about to bully me again? But why do I have a little expectation? Looking at her expression, I also began to reflect. Is it going too fast? Look at this little girl. I'm scared. I'm sorry. Maybe some of my ways are really not right. I'll pay more attention in the future and won't scare you like that. Even though I didn't really want to, seeing the other person's resentful expression, I really couldn't bear to continue. It would be troublesome to make her really scared. As a result, Bok T-Ham was stunned when he heard that, especially when he saw that I was sitting up straight, feeling especially worried. Doesn't he mean that he won't bully me in the future? How can that be? No, it's okay. You can bully. You can bully. You can't help but bully. I just feel unbelievable. These words came out of her mouth again. But when I saw her expectant eyes, I was completely confused. No, this girl is very unusual. Are you hungry? Do you want me to buy you something to eat? Bok T-Ham was a bit happy, but still waved his hand. I can do it myself when I get home. Yesterday, she mustered up all her courage and decided to make me something to eat after taking a bath. As a result, unexpectedly, she finished showering and realized I had left a long time ago. These words remind me the opposite. Okay then, you can make a few more dishes tonight. I want to come over too. No. Today I was held by the hand. Besides, if my parents knew that there was a son coming, they would definitely come back and beat me to death. What's wrong? Aren't we good friends? I looked at Bok T-Ham suspiciously. Yes, you are indeed a good friend. She nodded obediently. Having a meal together between good friends seems really okay. She thought carefully about my steadfast expression and finally chose to believe. So, it's just good friends eating together. From childhood to adulthood, Bok T-Ham did not have many friends. Cooking becomes the best way to relax your mood. When Bok T-Ham was young, she learned her first dish, was happy and excited, and wanted to share with her family. But as a result, she discovered that there was no one around. She was the only one in the large house. Even so, stubborn Bok T-Ham still tried to suppress the emotions in her heart, not wanting to let the weak tears take the opportunity to slide down, because that would be said to be useless. I must say, I really touched her heart. She has never shared it with her close friends. Feeling happy for the first time. Tomorrow is the weekend. I might be a bit busy. Please stay at home and wait for me obediently. Yes, Bok T-Ham is very obedient. Whatever I say, she will agree, let alone ask what I will do. In her mind, she thought, if only I could come back, it would be good. On the way home after school, Fatty Kong crawled out from the side. Mr. Vu, I want to ask you something. My mother wants to buy a house in Shanghai, saying she wants to wait until I go to college. In Ma's words, there was an unwillingness. He really had no other choice, so he thought of asking me. After hearing his words, my eyes were filled with jealousy. In my impression, it was a sudden thing for the Fat family to have money. At that time, his mother did not dare to buy much, so she bought one house. The phone sitting next to her started playing with it. Bok T-Ham, next to Chu Nan, was filled with disbelief. It's miraculous. How can he be so good? Looking at me tapping away on the phone, she learned many things she had never been exposed to. Before, she always thought that the phone was more than just texting and calling. But when I opened something that looked like a penguin, Bok T-Ham realized that he could also chat on it. Is this something you invented? Of course not. But I can do other things well. Do you believe it? Bok T-Ham nodded continuously. She felt I was too good, doing things she didn't know at all. In the future, if you miss me, please message me here. Certainly cheaper than the cost of sending messages. I pointed to my friends who had just been accepted and were still waiting, and marked the word husband. She didn't know what I was doing. She just looked at me with a red face. Okay, see this call? After speaking, I even held the phone close to her, showing the words, Dear husband. This is a note that the system automatically set. You see, even the system knows that we will get married in the future. After hearing what I said, she didn't believe it and looked at the phone. When he saw the note displayed inside, he gasped. It's definitely broken. Both in denial and a bit unbelievable. Do I really have to be this evil guy's wife in the future? Okay, it's not early anymore. I have to go home. If you miss me, click on it to send a message. Don't log out. You won't get a reply. I just don't miss you. The old road under the moonlight makes people nostalgic. I turned around and raised my head to look towards Bok T-Ham. The light on the balcony was still on. Perhaps the owner is stressed and afraid of accidentally touching the switch. The orange light seemed a bit shy and gradually dimmed. Early the next morning, I picked up my phone and opened the QQ message. At first I thought that shy, stupid girl didn't dare contact me, but unexpectedly she sent a message. This girl still remembers how we promised to go have breakfast together every morning. Look at the time. It's 8:1, no delivery. It's been 6 minutes now, I hastily responded. Wait 2 minutes. The other person doesn't send a message. Thinking about it, maybe she had already quit QQ, so she didn't receive it. I had to buy breakfast and bring it to her directly. The sound of deliveries on the streets echoed everywhere. When I entered the market, I suddenly saw a familiar figure. That figure was alone and scared, standing on the side of the road, not daring to move. I sped up my steps and immediately moved forward. You idiot. The girl was worried and uneasy, standing on the road, not daring to move. The weak figure with the surrounding crowd looked really out of place. Hearing the footsteps of adults around her, Bok T-Ham only felt a little short of breath. At first, she thought she could go out and buy 2 bowls of tofu herself and then proudly invite me to come and have breakfast with her. As a result, everything is broken. Maybe it's true like my family said, I'm a useless person. Suddenly, a pair of large hands were placed on her head. Little silly girl, you're already very good. The familiar words entered her ears, and in the end she couldn't hold back, but she still bit her lip. Stress and anxiety also gradually disappear. Have you never gone out to buy things yourself? I really didn't expect that at this time she already had mild social anxiety and couldn't stay long in crowded places. In Bok T-Ham's eyes, my appearance made her both surprised and happy. Even though I stroked her head to comfort her, looking at my frowning face, I was definitely angry. Even so, she still used her small hand to grab my shirt, like that, one after another, leaving the crowded area and returning home. Bok T-Ham. I sat on the sofa with a serious face. What are you standing there for? Come here. How long have you been waiting alone? There was no scolding as imagined. This made Bok T-Ham feel a bit surprised. Just a moment ago, your brother arrived. So why didn't you reply to my message? I looked at the little dress she was wearing. This girl must have mustered up the courage to dare go out alone to buy breakfast. I don't have my phone. Bok T-Ham warmly thought that buying breakfast wouldn't take much time and would return quickly. Absolutely did not expect there to be so many people outside. I promised you that we would have breakfast together these past few days. That was just an excuse for me to want to go to school with her. Unexpectedly, this stupid girl was very obedient and took it to heart. I also said to make you my wife. Don't you remember this too? She did not admit it. Bok T-Ham shook his head vigorously. I haven't agreed to this yet. You're really my wife, you just don't know it yet. You said no bullying. Okay, not now, but later on. Bak T-Ham turned his head away, seemingly not wanting to pay attention to me. Stand up, run to your room. The green dinosaur stuffed animal on the bed is an object she can confide in. Tuduyan, why don't I hate him? Bak T-Ham raised his hand and poked the little dinosaur's back, pouting his lips and looking at it innocently, wanting to receive an answer from Tuduyan's mouth. A moment later, she took the phone from under the pillow again, found the penguin symbol, and pressed the key. When she saw the word husband in the note, Bak T-Ham unconsciously pouted. Her little feet did not forget to kick the blanket to express her dissatisfaction. Hey, can I come in? No, I'm sleeping. As a precaution, the girl secretly ran out alone to gain courage. I choose to stay in my room. I promise not to run around. Bak T-Ham's face turned red. It was the first time she had a son in her bedroom. She was a bit confused, and there were still some small clothes that had not yet been collected. If seen, Bak T-Ham held her breath, trying to block my view, avoiding things that made people blush. She also tried to let me out, but it didn't need to be cute for me. It didn't work at all. Politely knocking on the door is indeed real, but going straight to the bedroom is also real. This wardrobe flower is much bigger than my house. Let me see. Just before I could open it and look at it, it was stopped by its owner. Impossible. The girl was much more determined this time. Her cheeks were red and she stretched out her arms to block me in front of me. She raised her small head and looked at me with determined eyes. If I open the closet, many small panties will appear inside. If I see it, that little panda. Looking at it, I'm just curious why her wardrobe is bigger than mine. No, that's stingy. Later when you come to my house, I'll open it for you to see what else there is. Me, I don't watch. How can a boy's little underwear be as cute as mine? Okay, I won't watch. Let's go. I bought you delicious food. When I carried a large bag of snacks and dumped it on the table, Bak T-Ham poked her small head out very curiously. There are a lot of snacks I've never seen before. Should I eat them? Have I never eaten them before? I waved at Bak T-Ham. She shook her head. These are all what Dad calls sensory foods. Don't eat them. She glanced at the table, decided to quickly leave while she could still hold it. If the eyes don't see, the heart doesn't bother. I tore open a packet of fig fiber, and the fragrance spread in the air. You really don't eat? I only bought 2 packs. While speaking, I didn't forget to lick my lips. These 3 people are so obnoxious. If you don't eat, that's fine. I'm going to the bathroom. The food is here. You can't secretly eat. I just stopped eating secretly. This type of thing can only be done by evil people. Bak T-Ham pouted and deliberately turned his head away without looking at me. After hearing the bathroom door close, she relaxed her tension and swallowed her saliva. Not listening. The fig fiber on the table is really attractive. I just looked and didn't eat. After deciding, Bak T-Ham lowered her steps and slowly approached the place where the snacks were placed. Small noses smell first. I just sniffed it. It should be okay, right? From childhood to adulthood, she was naturally a greedy little cat, just because of her strict upbringing, plus there was no one around to take her out to eat, so she never had the thought of trying it out. The smell of dried fig fibers is very strong. The girl secretly reached out and took out some and quickly put it in her mouth. Anyway, no one found out. As the dry pulse entered his mouth, Bak T-Ham only felt that what his parents said before seemed to be a lie. Let me see if I cheated or not. I opened the door and went out. Bak T-Ham was a bit embarrassed and turned away without answering. Are you really not going to eat it? It's okay not to eat it. After all, this thing is just radish fibers and doesn't taste very good. As soon as Bak T-Ham heard it, her mind was filled with disbelief. What? How can it be radish fibers? Compared to radishes, they have completely different flavors. How do you know? You've already eaten something, haven't you? Firewood, charcoal, and oil. The girl blushed, realizing I was seducing her. Speak quickly, bow your head, and pretend to be dead, as if doing so could avoid the truth of stealing. Eat when you eat. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay, I'll cook a bowl of noodles. If you think it's not nutritious enough, you can cook it yourself. At first, Bak T-Ham still didn't understand what was delicious about just a piece of dry noodles. However, when she saw me opening the spice packet inside, her small face immediately became panicked. No, you can't eat this. The little girl ran in front of me in panic, stopping my dangerous actions.